100 years after hundreds of members of the city's thriving black community were killed by a white mob, civil rights leader Reverend William Barber told a crowd at historic Vernon AME Church that mob will not get the last word in Tulsa.
We must be more powerful than even they were, so that this and nothing like it ever happens again in public policy or in public violence.
Other events in Tulsa Monday featured calls for reparations for survivors of the massacre and their descendants. Brian Clark, ABC News.
More details about the deadly shooting in Miami over the weekend.
The manhunt in Miami for the 3 suspected gunmen wanted for a mass shooting outside a banquet hall. Heavily armed with assault-style rifles. 2 people were killed, another 20 wounded. 3 are still in critical condition. Police say some people in the crowd returned fire. The venue had been rented out for a local rapper's album release party. Police divers finding the suspect's vehicle submerged in a canal.
ABC's Victor Okendo in Miami. Panicked shoppers were sent rushing out of a Dallas mall on Memorial Day after a man banging a skateboard on the ground scared them. The food court made gestures if he was shooting. He did not have a gun. Other tennis stars are showing support for Naomi Osaka after she withdrew from the French Open to focus on her mental health. ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
17-year-old Coco Gauff tweeting, "Stay strong. I admire your vulnerability." And trailblazer Billie Jean King writing, "It's incredibly brave that Naomi Osaka has revealed her truth about her struggle with depression. Right now, the important thing is that we give her the space and time she needs."
The first team has arrived in Tokyo for the Olympics. Australia's softball players getting there as Japan experiences another surge of COVID cases. This is ABC News.
Heads up, America. This is Drew Berquist, former U.S. counterterrorism officer, fighting for your freedoms right here at home, which is why you need to join Mammoth Nation. We are America's conservative discount club. Mammoth Nation was created by conservatives for conservatives of all ages. Now you have a safe place to shop that fights against the cancel culture. You get great deals on things like hotels, shopping, wireless, sporting goods, Patriot Gold, and a lot more. We just keep on growing. Cool thing is, proceeds from your membership dues and purchases help to support conservative businesses. Mammoth Nation also supports conservative candidates, military, veterans, law enforcement, and our American way of life. Memberships start at just $19 a year. Go to MammothNation.com, and if you hurry, you'll get a 30% discount on a lifetime membership. It's time we all took a stand. Shop with companies that want to support America, not destroy it. That's MammothNation.com. Get on board and become a lifetime member today.
Lawmakers in Nevada want their state at the front of the line when it comes to primaries. They have passed a bill to try to push Nevada's primary ahead of contests in Iowa and New Hampshire now, but they would still need to get the okay from national political parties. Iran facing questions from the UN nuclear watchdog over unexplained uranium readings at several undeclared sites. The organization says Iran has been holding back on critical information about its nuclear program since February. This could pose a threat to wider talks over the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Negotiators in Austria are still trying to get the U.S. back into the agreement. The search continues around Houston for a 6-year-old boy who was last seen in school at the end of April. Police believe Samuel Olson may have been taken by someone posing as a police officer. And being late by just 1 minute has made a North Carolina woman a brand new millionaire.
Elizabeth Johnson bought a Powerball ticket on May 19th for that night's drawing, but she was too late. Her numbers accepted a minute after the purchase deadline, so her numbers were counted toward the next Powerball drawing on May 22nd, where they matched all 5 white balls, scoring her $2 million, clearing about $1.4 million after taxes. When she got the message she won, she says she thought, "I didn't even play tonight," proving that when it comes to buying a lottery ticket, it really is better late than never. Dave Packer, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are here to help. We'll make sure you have all the supplies you need to make the job quick and easy. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95. Plus, get a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the list.
It's going to be another gorgeous day outside with temperatures this afternoon climbing into the low to mid 80s. We're seeing a lot of sunshine, but clouds are going to work their way in as we head into the afternoon, and we're going to stay dry. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 50s and lower 60s with highs in the low to mid 80s tomorrow. We have a better chance of seeing a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And a very pleasant good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second hour of the morning wake-up call. So glad to have you on this first day of June. And I hope you had a great weekend celebrating and remembering and all the things that we need to do for Memorial Day to remember those folks who gave their lives that we might do what we're doing today. Our temperature reading right now is 53 degrees, warming up to around 80 for a daytime high today, which sounds pretty good to me. The rain comes back in here, looks like maybe Wednesday night, Thursday, and possibly Thursday night, and maybe some on Friday. But right now it looks like today's going to be another one of those beautiful Chamber of Commerce kind of days. Welcome. Now I have these death announcements. Olivia Gail Tony departed her loved ones on Friday, May 28th. The funeral service will be held 2 o'clock today at Concord Baptist Church, with Reverend Travis Laughlin, Reverend Dr. Jim Whitlow, and Reverend Dr. Aubrey Folk officiating. The family will receive friends from 12:30 until 1:45 today in the sanctuary of the church prior to the service. Burial will be in the church cemetery and will be private for the immediate family. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements, and online guest registry available at pagetking.com for Olivia Gail Tony. Don Bailey, age 83, of Ellenboro, died Sunday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills in Forest City. The funeral service will be held 2 o'clock Wednesday, June 2nd in the Concord Baptist Church, with Reverend Travis Laughlin officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Family will receive friends following the graveside service at the cemetery. The Paget King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Don Bailey of Ellenboro. Charles Thomas Wright, Jr., age 77, of Lake Lure, passed away Saturday, May 29th at Hospice House in Forest City. Funeral services will be held 2 p.m. Wednesday, June 2nd at First United Methodist Church in Rutherford, with Dr. N. Young Lee officiating. Burial with military honors will follow in the Pleasant Grove Baptist Church Cemetery. The family will receive friends today from 5 until 7 at Crow's Mortuary in Rutherford. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Charles Thomas Wright, Jr. Robert Atchley, 84, of Rutherford, passed away Monday, May 31st. Those arrangements are incomplete at this time and will be announced later by Crow's Mortuary. Again, that's Robert Atchley of Rutherford. Myril Gilbert, 88, of Rutherford, passed away Sunday, May 30th at Oak Grove Healthcare Center. Those arrangements also incomplete and will be announced by Crow's Mortuary. Myril Gilbert of Rutherford. And Ronnie Wilson, 74, of Rutherford, passed away Sunday, May 30th. Those arrangements also incomplete at this time and will be announced by Crow's Mortuary. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Be sure to join us at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 this afternoon as part of the afternoon report to complete information on these as they become available to us here at WCAB in Rutherford. I trust everybody had a great, understanding weekend and nobody got hurt. We'll check our sources coming up here in just a few moments with the Sheriff's Department and 911 Communications Center and various fire districts around the county to find out what kind of activity they had this Memorial Day weekend. The Braves had a pretty good day yesterday. They beat the Nationals 5-3, and they go at it again tonight. 7:15 first pitch. We'll join that pregame following News 13 at 6, and we'll go right into the pregame, and you will not miss a thing. 7:15 first pitch tonight. Braves and the Nationals.
Sunday's Washington Post ran a big, blaring headline. Thousands of ICE detainees claim they were forced into labor, a violation of anti-slavery laws. Now, wow, that sounds really bad. I'll bet right now you're asking, what's this all about, Il Rocheveau? Well, the first thing you need to know, folks, is this supposed forced labor happened during the Obama administration. A 2014 lawsuit's getting attention now because a federal judge just granted the defendants class action status. When this suit just began, it was 9 defendants. Lawyers were suing for $5 million. But with class action status, damages for up to 60,000 illegal immigrants could grow substantially, says the Post. In other words, the lawyers could hit the jackpot if they prevail. Here's what else you need to know. The lawsuit is against a private prison run by an evil corporation. This is the first lawsuit of its kind to get this far. Liberals are excited because they hate private prisons with a passion. Now, the most important fact, the illegal immigrants were never slaves. They were volunteers. They chose to work for the pay they received. It's a normal arrangement in jails and prisons and detention facilities. Legal precedent allows prisons to offer inmates reduced wages like this, especially since they're not paying for their own upkeep. But the people behind the lawsuit are leftists. They're trying to bankrupt the system. They're trying to enrich themselves. And mostly, they're trying to grandstand, just for you.
Newt Gingrich, explaining the worst kind of identity theft, a crime that can cost you your home and is not covered by insurance or standard identity theft programs.
Your credit card company found suspicious charges on your card. That's simple identity theft. It's annoying, but they cover it. The crime you really need to worry about is home title theft, because it can cost you your home. The title documents to our homes are online now. The thief simply forges your signature in a quitclaim deed stating you sold your home and he's the new owner. Then he borrows money on your home and leaves you in debt. You won't know until a late payment or eviction notice arrives. That's why I have Home Title Lock. The instant they detect tampering with my home's title, they help shut it down. You need to protect your home's title now.
Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And enter RADIO for 30 free days of protection. That's promo code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic oldies.
Good morning. Good morning.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
This is for those who always show they care, who told their kids everyone 12 and older is eligible for a COVID vaccine. Those who explain to their cousins that vaccines prevent nearly 100% of hospitalizations and deaths from COVID-19. This is for the ones protecting those they love. Thank you.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
On June 1, 1859, a stagecoach was traveling along the Denver Trail when 3 Indians rode up. The animals pulling the coach were startled and they bolted. The stagecoach slid down the side of the hill. The drivers and one of the passengers jumped clear. The other passenger emerged from the coach with blood flowing from numerous small cuts. The injured man was Horace Greeley, the editor of the New York Tribune. For almost 10 years, he had been preaching the doctrine of "Go west, young man, go west." But because he was very busy with the paper, lecturing, politics, and tragically dealing with the death of 5 of his 7 children, he himself had not followed that advice. During this trip, Greeley sent back reports that scolded Westerners as shiftless and idle people for not working 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. He tried civilizing the Indians, but admitted failure. He called for schools, roads, and a transcontinental railroad. Visiting the gold fields of Colorado and California, he demanded better mining techniques that didn't scar the hillsides. While visiting the Rocky Mountains, he decided they would become a favorite resort and home of civilized man. As for the Utah desert, he said, "If Uncle Sam should ever sell that tract for 1 cent per acre, he will swindle the purchaser outrageously." Although health problems caused Horace Greeley to cut his trip short, the 4 months of reports he sent back east probably inspired more people to go west than his previous years of riding. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
All right, let's head straight to the phones this morning and catch up on what's been happening over the last long holiday weekend. And we have the sheriff on the phone to give us that update. Sheriff Chris Francis, good morning.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How you doing this morning, sir?
Doing quite well, thank you. Glad it's finally Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
What's been happening over the weekend?
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded 163 calls to service. There have been 7 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 167. But those arrested, Raven Leanne Moore, 25-year-old female of Mooresboro, received a $500 bond for failure to appear. Fred Lee Braun, Jr., 35-year-old male of Boston, was charged with failure to appear, felony larceny and non-support, received a $500 bond as well. Among our incidents, we had a speed eluded arrest on US 74 business. Deputies were in pursuit approximately 6:40 yesterday with a black motorcycle. It was going eastbound. Suspect did flee on foot once in Cleveland County on Mooresboro Road. Was unable to locate, but they do have good suspect information in that particular case. In a separate case, we had a B&E in larceny on Capri Park Drive in Ellenboro. It was a PlayStation 5 valued at $750 taken, a go-kart valued at $500, as well as a go-kart valued at $900, and prescription medication taken in that instant. We had a larceny reported on Lavender Road in Ellenboro. There was a catalytic converter valued at $500, as well as a North Carolina registration plate EFL 2344 valued at $25 that was taken in that instant. We had a break-in entering larceny on Green Road in Rutherford. Looks like there was an Edison 2000 Bluetooth speaker valued at $500 taken. We had a larceny on US 64 in Union Mills where a Ford van had a catalytic converter taken off, damage in converter valued at $750. We had a break-in in larceny on Brooklyn Road in Forest City. Looks like the suspect took U.S. currency and coins, and we had a separate B&E in larceny on Brooklyn Road, a neighbor that had several firearms taken, a Smith & Wesson Model 686 357 Magnum valued at $900, a Taurus 9mm T92 valued at $500, a Stevenson 12-gauge over and under valued at $500, and a Taurus nickel-plated with wood grips 38 caliber valued at $500. And Jim, that's what we had to report for the last 24 hours.
Sure, you may not know the answer to this, but this catalytic converters being stolen, does that seem like that's a one-person operation doing all these, or is there several people stealing these in different places?
Since we have them in different places in the county, I would imagine we have some different suspects. The prices has just went up about the last 4 or 5 months, so there has been an increase in those larcenies. So if you were to crank up your vehicle and it was extremely loud, that would be a good chance that someone had stolen that catalytic converter and cut that off in the middle of the night. So it is good to park under light or close to a residence and make sure you keep an eye on your property and report any suspicious activity.
Sure, but I appreciate that. Thank you for the update, and you be safe out there. We'll talk to you again next time.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thanks, Chris. Bye-bye. Sheriff Chris Francis reporting in this morning on this Tuesday morning report, 20 minutes after 7. We'll get to 911 calls right after this.
Have you been financially impacted by COVID-19? Savings on internet access may be available to you. Under the FCC Emergency Broadband Benefit Program, you could save up to $50 per month on your monthly wireless bill. Carolina West Wireless is a proud supporter of this program and is pleased to offer this savings benefit to those who qualify. Visit any Carolina West Wireless retail store or carolinawest.com/EBB for more information. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
Here's Amanda now to give us an update from the calls they've received in the past 24 hours. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. What's on the report?
Well, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 437 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 38 for the emergency medical services, 29 for rescue, 163 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 37 for Forest City, 13 for Lake Lure, 47 for Rutherfordton, and 45 for Spindale. Bills Creek Fire Department had a residential fire alarm, Chimney Rock had a woods fire, Lake Lure had a brush fire, and Rutherfordton had a motor vehicle crash, and that is all.
Thanks so much. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Here's Ruby Taylor with the reporting out of the Danieltown SDO Fire District. Ruby, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. What's on the report?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Eva Sis, Beverly Black, Kelly Fain, and Kermer Husky having birthdays. I hope all these people have a nice day, and the signs are in the feet today and tomorrow. And that's all I've got.
Thanks, Ruby. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
22 minutes after 7 o'clock. Braves back on again tonight against the Nationals. They beat them yesterday 5-3.
Whether you're buying or selling, downsizing or expanding, relocating or vacationing, RE/MAX Journey agents have the tools and experience to help you to go from sale to sold. That's why no one sells more homes than RE/MAX. Don't worry, they've done this a million times. Download the new RE/MAX app today. Visit the local RE/MAX Journey team at 121 Laurel Drive in Rutherfordton or call them at 828-395-2222.
Each office independently owned and operated.
Here's Gary Wilson now reporting to us from the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Gary, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Doing good. How was the Hot Diggity Dog event?
It was good. We had about 150, 160 come through.
That's great.
And had some donations besides that, so it was real well, very, very successful. I'm glad to have an event back on the calendar again for a change.
Yes.
And haven't do much of that in the past year, but hopefully we can make up for that this year. And I think it's not only good money-wise for the fire department, but it's good PR-wise to get out and mingle with the community and
sure.
See what we're all about. So it went well. And I had a quiet weekend and busy weekend, but no emergency calls or anything like that, so everything went pretty peacefully there. A couple of nice, cool mornings this last 2 mornings. Can't complain about the weather, that's for sure.
That's right.
Sitting on about 52 up here this morning, about the same thing yesterday morning. And got a little warm yesterday, but not bad, up near 80, but didn't even quite make it to 80. But we'll pay for it, I guess, later on, get toward 4th of July, the heat will come back. But for right now, we'll take what we got.
Yeah, I like these cool mornings.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it's no humidity. That feels really good. So it makes you feel like getting out and doing something. And no calls the last 24 hours, so we're good to go up here this morning, Jim.
Great, Gary. Thanks so much for your report, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you then.
Bye-bye.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Coopers Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Let's check now with the Mount Vernon, the Hudlow Fire District, and Bob Hodges over there with his eye on things for us, and he's the man of the hour. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good Tuesday morning, first day of June here.
Yes, it is indeed. I'll tell you, about a half of the year's almost gone.
That's right. Soon be half the year gone here already. So, but things are moving right along there. It don't ever stop, does it? So, but things are going along good up here so far this morning, Jim. With our Terry Corey up here with the fire department overnight is quiet. Didn't have any fire call. And want to say happy birthday to old Dennis Matheny this morning. And everything else going along good, Jim. Pretty quiet up here.
Good. Well, I'm glad everybody had a quiet weekend so far. It sounded like it was a pretty quiet event.
Yeah, we had a pretty quiet Memorial Day weekend, so nothing too bad happened. So that's good, I reckon.
That's good. I like that. All right, Bob, I appreciate it.
And you take care, Jim. Have a good day.
Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning. The impact COVID-19 has had on our community has caused many changes. And some of these changes is our jobs. If your job situation is changing because of a layoff or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One of these decisions is what to do with your retirement plan. Let's make sure that your investment plan stays on track and doesn't derail your retirement ideas. Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale from Rutherfordton, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I would love to help you. Please give us a call at 828-287-9197. Our office is located in the Food Line Plaza in Rutherfordton. Edward Jones, making sense of investing and member of the SIPC. Bye.
Now let's say good morning to Sue Price over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District and get a report from there. How you doing, Sue?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Well, good. It's a beautiful morning out there. Sun's out and the birds are around the feeder, so
yeah,
everything seems to be okay out there.
Seen any hummingbirds yet?
Oh, yeah, I've had hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Got my feeder out and they've been coming to it, so I like to watch them.
I do too. They must not like Sandy much too good. I just get one, and they'll come and they'll be gone for several days, and that one will fly back again and be gone for a while. So I don't know if it's me they don't like or Faye.
Oh me. Well, I haven't had as many as I have in the past years yet. I hope some of them will come back. I've got a few coming, but I like to see them and watch them. They're so quick. They come and gone in just a second. Anyway, let's see. I have new calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays on my church calendar or my personal calendar for this first day of June. Fairview's got a birthday for Cheyenne Yelton, so I hope Cheyenne's going to have a good day today. And I don't have his first broad's calendar yet, so not too many celebrating. But we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a a real good day on their special day. And in my announcements, the Memorial Day service will be Sunday at Duncan's Creek Presbyterian Church, and we'll be having lunch to follow the service. And then Boston Missionary Methodist is having their memorial on Sunday, and they'll be having lunch to follow the service. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Well, thanks, Sue. I'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Now we're heading over toward the drop-in Family Mart in Bostic, and Audrey's on the phone to give us some updates over there. Audrey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, Jim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine and dandy. Did you get some time off yesterday?
Lord, no. We worked all day, Jim.
I bet it's a busy day for you,
all
wasn't
day. Do what, hon?
I bet it's a busy day for you, too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very busy. I mean, I tell you what, I guess people traveling around, you know, just out loafing around, that being a holiday, I guess they came in and just checked us out yesterday because we really did good yesterday.
Great.
Stayed busy.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. Jim, I just wanted to let everybody know that the girls are back here, started back with breakfast this morning. And, I mean, they got a good ham biscuit back here, or good liver mush, egg and cheese. And now we've started doing the little hash browns like they have down at Hardee's. And I tell you what, people say they're really good. I've not had a chance to try them yet, but people say they're awesome.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, and then over in our meat market, we got Jean back here cutting meat today, and you know, just come by and pick up anything you would like. And then I know tomorrow our fresh produce truck will be here in the morning around 4:30, so we'll have just anything anybody would want.
That's 4:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the afternoon?
4:30 in the morning, Jim.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, that's early.
Yeah, we have to get here around 4 on Wednesday morning, get ready for the big truck coming in, so, you know, everything will be good and fresh on that produce in the morning, so stop by and see us and pick up something good. I know we've been carrying strawberries here lately, and, you know, they're selling really well, so they must be awful good, too.
Boy, that'd be good, some strawberry shortcake, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir, it sure would.
Well, it's good. Things are busy, and I'm glad it's continuing to be that way, and I'll encourage folks to come on over and see you and load up on some breakfast this morning.
All righty. Thank you very much, Jim.
See you next time.
All righty, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's Audrey reporting in this morning over at the Family Drop-In Family Mart there, Bostic, right across from the post office.
It's a new month, and a new crop of scratch-offs are ready to harvest. These tickets are fresh off the vine and plump with prizes. Oh yeah, smells like a winner to me. So come on down. Your freshest chances to win in an instant are ready with new scratch-offs like Diamond Mine and Ruby Mine from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Kinda gives cash crop a whole new meaning. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.11. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
We got partly cloudy skies throughout today with highs around 80, northwest winds, only about 6 miles per hour. Had some pretty heavy winds over the weekend, but today looks like it's going to be kind of nice out there. All right, let's check it up at the Shingle Hollow community, and Tina White's on the phone to give us the news from there. How you doing, Tina?
I am doing great this morning.
Good.
How was your weekend?
Well, weekend was, I had a good one. I came down with in my back over the weekend, so I've been sort of babying my back all weekend, so I didn't get to do a whole lot.
Well, did it help? Is your back feeling better?
A little bit, not much. Well, I'm roughing it. I'll get through it. When you're down in your back, not hardly anything seems to help.
Right, just rest and muscle cream.
Yep.
Well, it's pretty quiet up here in Shingle Hollow this morning. It's 54 degrees. The fire department, Shingle Hollow nor Green Hill had any calls, so we're happy about that. And there's no birthdays on Pleasant Grove or Piney Knob, and I don't have one for Pilgrim Way Baptist Church. So, Preacher Stafford, if you're listening, I need a new June calendar.
That's telling him.
Telling him and everybody else. Maybe it'll get me one soon. But
well, people do enjoy hearing the names on birthday times. People are proud of their birthdays most of the time. Right,
and it also lets others know that may know them to look up their phone number and call.
Sure. Did anybody do any fireworks up your way over the weekend for Memorial Day?
Yes, there was a lot of fireworks Saturday, Sunday, and last night. And last night they really had some big fireworks over here. The animals hate it.
Yeah.
They draw up, and it's like it traumatized them for a couple days.
Yeah. My dog hates them too.
But it's good to celebrate. It's good to be together and to honor our armed services, our armed forces, the lost that have fought so hard for us. They paid the ultimate price. So
absolutely,
good thing to honor them.
Oh, we never forget it.
No, I hope we don't either.
Well, Tina,
it's a humbling thing.
Pardon me?
I said it's very humbling when you really think about it.
Yes.
Take it to your heart. So up here in Shingle Hollow, we're beautiful.
Good.
Sunshine. And we're going to have a great day. Everybody out there be safe today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Tina. It's good to hear from you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
38 minutes after 7.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
And we're going upstate Union Mills now to get the Kelly report from Brenda Kelly. See what's been happening up on the hillside up there. And here she is now. Brenda Kelly, good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this tremendous Tuesday morning, the first day of June?
Brand new month, isn't it?
I know it. It's hard to believe. Blink our eyes and it's going to be Christmas.
Let's see. Any special events in June? Father's Day's in June.
Flag Day's on 14th, ain't it?
What
and
day?
Father's Day. Flag Day.
Flag Day's the 14th, and Father's Day's the 20th.
The 20th.
Yep.
Yeah. So we we can fly our flags again, can't we?
We sure can. I like to fly mine all the time.
I've got one that's got the red, white, and blue stripes on it, but it's not your normal flag. It says celebrate. So I got it hanging out front, and I got my little flags around in my flower pots.
Yeah, good.
So, but Sunday at church, our preacher, when it was time for the worship service, he had a video that he showed, and I couldn't help but cry. And it showed people that with the flag draped over the coffin, and it was just, I couldn't help but cry. To me, it was pitiful. But, that's how come we have the freedom that we have.
Really made you think, didn't it?
Yes, it did. It showed this young girl. She was just, you could just tell she was distraught, and she was just hanging on to that coffin for dear life. And then it showed one where a young girl was out at the cemetery laying across the grave of her husband. And I said, my goodness, whoever made that sure made a good video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wish they'd show things like that in all the public schools and private schools.
Yeah.
So the kids could grow up understanding what Memorial Day is all about. It's not just ball games and hot dogs. It's about a memory of folks who gave their life that we can do what we do. That's
exactly right. And he even went so far as way back in the 1700s and told how many had got killed in that war in the 1800s and all the way up to present day. And 1 million and something people had gave their life for our freedom. I said he done a lot of research.
Yeah, that was really something. I admire him for doing that.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that service Sunday.
Well, I had an uncle who died in World War II. He was killed, I forget where he was stationed at the time, but I barely knew him. It was, I was just a little taught. I remember meeting him one time, and then he went back to service after that. He was killed. I never really got to know him, but I just know he was one of my dad's middle brothers, I believe.
Yeah. I had a first cousin that went down on a submarine. I remember he had come home, and him and his brother come to see us out on the end of Spindale Street, Mom and Daddy, and he had washed his hands, and Mama had a white towel hanging up on the towel rack, and this is how I remember him. He said, "Ain't sir," he said, "I dried my hands on the back side of the towel so it wouldn't be dirty." And then he went back, and that was the end of it. He went down in a submarine.
Oh, goodness.
So that was back, I was born in 44, and I was about, I don't know, 5 or 6. I just barely can remember it. So it was in the late 40s or early 50 maybe. And then I know Mike Smith, a young man from Spindale, he died in the Vietnam War.
Yep.
And them was only 2 people I knew, that had lost their life in the wars. But it's a sad time, but it's a good time too, because without them we wouldn't have what we have today.
Because of them, we're moving on.
That's right. And I'm sorry your back's hurting, and I hope it gets better quick.
Well, thank you. This too will pass.
I've got 48 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays, any anniversaries. The only announcement I have is 33 and the 3rd band will be at the Union Mills Learning Center on June the 4th. They have a meal beginning at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. There's no cost for the band, and the music starts at 7 p.m., but they do have a tip jar available for the band. And other than that, I don't have anything, so I guess you need to get down to Ellenboro and check on Luther.
Brother, you have a wonderful day.
Okay, catch you later.
Thanks, bye.
This is for those who always show they care, who told their kids everyone 12 and older is eligible for a COVID vaccine. Those who explain to their cousins that vaccines prevent nearly 100% of hospitalizations and deaths from COVID-19. This is for the ones protecting those they love. Thank you.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
All right, let's check in over to Ellenboro now and see if the man is back in action. Luther Gilligan, good morning.
Good morning to you.
You're back in action a little bit. Still sound a little bassy, but you're okay?
I feel okay. Just can't talk good.
Yeah. Well, that'll improve, though. It's not a permanent thing, right?
I hope.
Yeah.
I definitely hope so. But it's a good morning out here. Sun's coming up. Going to be a good day. Been a quiet day yesterday. Only had one call yesterday. Had a little dirt bike accident for the department went out yet. Other than that, it's quiet. But we always have a birthday. Miss Susan Bailey. She's Vessel's secretary. So hope Susan has a great day, and hope you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. I'm glad you're getting better. See you now.
All right. Take care.
That leaves us time for birthdays and anniversaries. So, here on this Tuesday, the first day of June. June once. If you're celebrating, give us a call now at 287-3356, and we'll celebrate with you. Give you a big shout out here on the radio. Birthdays, anniversaries coming up.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Jim Bishop and the entire staff of WCAB Radio take this time to send out sincere goodwill wishes to this year's graduating class. We wish for all of you continued success, health, and happiness as you begin your journey forward. Good luck and best wishes from WCAB, located on Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Thank you very much, Lou. Of course, you folks know about the delectable Granny B's Daylight Donuts. Now, you can experience the delicious Granny B's Pizza Combo. You heard me right. Granny B's Pizza Combo is absolutely fantastic. Choose from 13 different combinations. What's your preference? You can order Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. And here's the number, 286-9012. You'll never go back to the others once you've had a Granny B's Combo Pizza. Oh, sure, it's all right to save a little room for one of Granny B's Daylight Donuts. It's okay to do that. They're located West Main Street, Spindale. Happy birthday. Birthday to Dennis Matheny over in Forest City. Dennis is a former fireman. He's still making some firefighting, but Dennis Matheny is a great guy. Hope you wish him a happy birthday. If you see him, pat him on the back and just wish him well. Good birthday for Dennis Matheny. And coming up, Keys to Confident Living, and we'll also have this one. This is Tuesday. Andrew Tisdale will be in the Blue Room here coming up in a few minutes. My Great America with Jim and Butch at 9:05. All that's right here. 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB.
Motherhood and homemaking is indeed a noble calling. No one should be ashamed of assuming a role of staying home and caring for the children when that is an option. Too many times women are made to feel that they should apologize for being mothers and housewives. In reality, such roles are noble callings. Joe Bray tells about when he was on the faculty of the University of Pennsylvania. His wife chose to stay at home and care for the children rather than find other work outside the home. There were gatherings from time to time to which faculty members brought their spouses. Inevitably, some woman lawyer or sociologist would confront his wife with the question, "And what is it that you do, my dear?" His wife had a great response. She said, "I am socializing two Homo sapiens into the dominant values of the Judeo-Christian tradition in order that they might be instruments for the transformation of the social order into the teleologically prescribed utopia inherent in the eschaton." When she followed that with, "And what is it that you do?" the other person's, "A lawyer?" just wasn't that overpowering. The intimate care for one's children is the highest calling of all. If God has blessed you with an opportunity to stay home and care for your children, thank Him. In the years to come, it will no doubt be your most prized possession. And whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic oldies.
WCAB.
Vaccine. That would mean it would no longer be distributed as emergency use. Pfizer has asked for full approval as well. As more people get vaccinated, more people are traveling. A record number of them screened at TSA checkpoints over the Memorial Day weekend.
With more than half of America's adult population fully vaccinated, Americans are out in force.
I'm feeling free. No mess.
Air travel shattering not just records, but projections, too. More than 7 million people screened at U.S. airports between Thursday and Sunday.
ABC transportation correspondent Gio Benitez added Monday's numbers, and more than 9 million passengers were screened through the weekend. The mayor of Tulsa is apologizing for the race massacre that took place there 100 years ago. Leslie Benningford was 6 years old when a white mob burned the Greenwood section of the city to the ground. She says a racial reckoning that should have happened never did.
We should all be equal, regardless of color, creed, or anything, but we're not. That's a big thing in my mind.
There was a candlelight vigil held last night. Today, President Biden will travel to the city. The Atlantic hurricane season officially begins today.
Tropical storm Ana has already come and gone, but with the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season today, forecasters believe people on the East Coast will become familiar with the names Claudette, Fred, Mindy, Peter. Those are some of the names that will be used for what NOAA believes will be a hurricane season of above average activity, featuring 6 to 10 hurricanes.
ABC's Brian Clark. They don't think it'll be as busy as last year. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is promising to call a special session of the state legislature and to fine the Democrats who walked out before voting on what they said would be the most restrictive voting bill in the country. Republicans say their proposals enhance election security. This is ABC News.
Maybe you can relate to this. A lot of people think they're stuck with their health plan. It costs too much, or for whatever reason, they just don't like it. But great news, you are not stuck with it. There is a choice. It's called MediShare, and you could save so much. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Major difference maker. This is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And just to give you a little more info about MediShare, it's a Christian healthcare sharing ministry. It's worked beautifully for 26 years, has more than 400,000 members, and they've shared over $3 billion of each other's medical bills. So yes, they can help share your needs too. So you're not stuck. There's an excellent alternative, whether you're single or married, you got a family. MediShare is super flexible. You can choose an option that works for you and start saving lots of money. You can join anytime. They're great to talk to. No pressure. Call 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
Criticism this morning for President Biden from a leading group advocating for African Americans.
The NAACP slamming President Biden and his administration for the lack of action on student loan debt relief. Tackling student loan debt was a campaign promise, and the civil rights organization is not the only name pointing out Mr. Biden's failure so far on the issue. Progressive Democrats, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, have also complained. NAACP President Derek Johnson saying in a statement, while many components of President Biden's budget appear to be encouraging, it fails to address a key issue at the core of the racial wealth gap, the student loan debt crisis. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
It's getting more expensive to eat out.
As restaurants nationwide ramp up to pre-pandemic levels, some customers may notice something new on the menu: higher prices. One reason, the cost of food, especially beef, pork, and chicken, is surging. The other reason for the price hikes, restaurants and their suppliers are facing a major shortage of workers, which is forcing them to pay higher wages to keep and attract staff.
That's ABC's Megan Tavrizian. It's still unclear if this will affect meat prices, but the world's largest meat supplier is now dealing with a cyber attack. JBS USA says it's affecting some of its computers in the U.S., Canada, and Australia. And a Boston Celtics fan who threw a water bottle at net star Kyrie Irving after a playoff game on Sunday. He's facing arraignment today on assault charges. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power and capacity your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are designed for lasting performance and consistent starts. Turn the key with confidence with Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Jesse James Railroad Express is becoming the Rutherford County hotspot with new lunch menu,
quarter pounder Angus beef burger topped with bacon, cheddar cheese, bang bang sauce, and onion rings, or the new 5-3-1 burger, half-pound charbroiled Angus burger with special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a toasted bun. It's everything that Big Mac wishes it could be. On top of that, milkshakes, hand-dipped ice cream also available. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 until 4. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Call them at 828-447-4644. 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions, Mondays only. That's 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. All aboard.
It's going to be another gorgeous and pleasant day outside. The thing is, we have our humidity levels on the low side, so although we are going to head into the low to mid 80s today, it is going to feel really comfortable outside. Overnight, we're going to fall into the upper 50s and lower 60s. Tomorrow will be another seasonable day with highs in the low to mid 80s, and we have a good chance of seeing a few isolated showers and thunderstorms by the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now we have 57 degrees, beautiful sunshiny degrees here on this Monday. We make it Tuesday morning. I tell you, missed yesterday makes it turn more days around. But it is Tuesday, and it's 57 degrees and warming up to about 80 for a daytime high. And since it is Tuesday morning, that means Andrew Tisdale Day here in the Blue Room. And he's right here, rested up and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and he's got some financial advice for us. And we'll turn it over to him right now. Good morning. What's on your mind today, sir?
I forgot. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was a great Memorial Day. How'd y'all have it? Did y'all have a good day?
We sort of did, yeah. I was nursing a bad back, but we went over to my daughter and son-in-law and grandsons last night, and they cooked ribs and chicken. And
that'll make anything feel better.
It made me feel a whole lot better.
That's great. That's great. So think about during this COVID situation, a lot of companies are now using this and making people contracted employees. So those people are now self-employed. That might be you. That might be somebody we're talking to, or you may be someone who's already self-employed or thinking about becoming self-employed. Here's what we want to talk about. Being self-employed has some benefits. You get to choose your own hours, you don't have to count vacation days, and you never really worry about getting downsized. On the other hand, you're truly on your own. There's no employer-sponsored retirement plan, no benefits package like insurance. So if you've recently started thinking about becoming a business owner or becoming a contract worker, possibly due to that COVID, how do you get on the road to that financial security, just like you had that plan when you were working for someone else? Number one, establish a budget. Especially when you're first starting out, you need to keep a tight control over your money. Money is a living thing. It's always moving. You just have to be the one in control of your money and tell it where to move. Open up a retirement plan. A self-employed individual has actually more opportunities than someone that is working for someone else. You can choose a retirement plan like a self-employed pension IRA, a simple IRA, or even an owner-only 401k. And you can actually put in certain amounts in certain ones. It actually gives you opportunity to take tax benefits from yourself, but also save for your retirement. A lot of self-employees, they say, well, I got to spend a lot of money at the end so I can save on taxes. And they buy more equipment, which is probably needed, and they need to buy other vehicles, things like that. But I always want to remind you, those things will depreciate. When you put money into a retirement plan, just some to keep your retirement goals in check, those will increase in value. Equipment decreases in value. Would you rather pay yourself or Uncle Sam later? Would you pay yourself something that's going to depreciate or pay yourself something that's going to grow? Also, have an emergency fund. Pay down your debts. Set aside money for taxes. Don't come up in April and be hit with a really big tax because you didn't take any out. And make sure you get proper insurance. Depending on the nature of work, you may not need some type of business insurance, but if you have a family, you certainly should consider the needs for insurance so that this goal in your life doesn't just get blown out of the water because of one unexpected event.
You always bring up interesting points every Tuesday. Folks probably don't think about in day-by-day busy schedule about what that money's doing and what it should be doing and not doing.
It's always moving.
Yeah, it's always moving. You look refreshed and rested up. You must have had a good weekend.
We did. We took a fishing trip in Tennessee, caught some good fish, caught smallmouth bass, caught mirror carp, common carp, all on a top water plug. It's good to see my dad and the boys watching it and setting the hook and fighting it to get it in right there on the Holston River. It's a beautiful river. It was a great time.
Now, where is that compared to Pigeon River?
Compared to the Pigeon River, it is closer to Knoxville, Maryville, Knoxville area. I've learned a lot about, I learned more than I knew. I didn't know if it's a lot. But the Holston River and the French Broad River actually form the Tennessee River right there in Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
So all of that's coming in. The Pigeon River goes into the French Broad. I was learning all about those watersheds as I was looking. Where are we at? What are we doing?
It's interesting. Beautiful country up that way.
Beautiful country. Beautiful country.
Well, we have some beautiful country right here in North Carolina, too, but it's good to get to Tennessee once in a while.
That's right. And you know what you learn there, you can always bring back here and see if there's any smallmouth ready to catch here.
That's right.
It was all those caddises, that big 17-year hatch.
Yeah.
It was
I bet the boys enjoyed that.
They did. I saw it in them. Yeah, I saw it in them.
Yeah, Andrew Tisdale, financial advisor with Edward Jones, making sense of investing. You can find him at 173 Railroad Avenue, and you can phone him at 287-9197, and you can talk your finances or you can talk fishing. He'll be happy to discuss either one of those.
Yes, I would. Especially if I can learn some fishing.
Yeah, there you go. See you next Tuesday.
See ya.
It's 8:11. We'll have news from here and there coming up with the Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Chris Francis in just a few moments.
It's a new month, and a new crop of scratch-offs are ready to harvest. These tickets are fresh off the vine and plump with prizes. Oh yeah, smells like a winner to me. So come on down. Your freshest chances to win in an instant are ready with new scratch-offs like Diamond Mine and Ruby Mine from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Kinda gives cash crop a whole new meaning. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.11. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
Now let's look at some stories from here and there from the weekend and yesterday. On Saturday, May 29th, just before 11 p.m., members of the Forest City Police Department responded to a disturbance in the area of Dogwood Lane in Forest City. When officers arrived on the scene, they discovered that the disturbance involved an exchange of gunfire. It left one individual injured. The injured citizen later died because of his injuries and has been identified as Marcus O'Neill Hill of Forest City. As the investigation began, detectives with the department quickly identified Jeremy Lee Brown, 38 years of age, from Rutherfordton as the suspected offender. With the assistance of the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, the North Carolina Highway Patrol, and the Rutherfordton Police Department, Brown was taken into custody without incident. Mr. Brown has been charged with first-degree murder and 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon. He is currently being held in the Rutherford County Slammer without bond. If anyone has any more information that they may assist in the ongoing investigation, they're asked to contact Sergeant Moore with the Forest City Police Department. Around 10:46 a.m. Friday, a white female and white male broke into a storage unit on Daniel Road in Forest City. It was advised they stole items to include a TV, iRobot vacuum before leaving in a silver-colored minivan. If you know these subjects, please contact Officer Burgess at the Forest City Police Department at 286-2911. They have excellent pictures of the white female, and they folks that break into these things may not understand that there are cameras everywhere anymore. Your picture's going to be snapped, so smile while you break it in. But they is left in a silver-colored minivan. So if you know anything about this, please contact the Forest City Police Department, and they'll be glad to get your information. Well, yesterday was certainly an important day for many across America as we paused to remember the fallen. And down in Forest City, they had that time of Memorial Day ceremony on Main Street Monday morning. Sergeant Major retired USMC Don Barrett welcomed everyone to the ceremony, calling Memorial Day one of the most important holidays we celebrate. After the colors were presented by the RS Central MCJROTC, Barrett led the attendees in the Pledge of Allegiance before Andy Salone sang the national anthem. After a prayer, Forest City Mayor Steve Holland spoke, giving those in attendance 2 challenges. The next time you see a member of the military or veteran, say thank you, he said. It shows not only gratitude, but respect and honor. The second challenge is to talk to your children and your grandchildren about what Memorial Day is all about. Holland talked about how his father served in the Navy and made sure Holland knew the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Doug Jackson, PO3 USN Seabees, shared a poem he'd written entitled Gold Star Mother. Every time we lose a warrior, we got a mama in pain, he said. By the time Jackson had finished his poem, several attendees were wiping tears off their cheeks. Rutherford County Commissioner Michael Benfield also spoke at the ceremony, quoting scripture from the book of John. John 15:13 tells us that greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends, said Benfield. That's what this day represents. There were several others who spoke during this ceremony. This article, written by Austin Bailey of the Daily Courier, and highlighted several more Memorial Day observances that took place. It was a good day for remembrance in downtown Forest City. Meanwhile, the Rutherford County Republican Party just enjoyed one of its most successful fundraisers after selling more than 7,000 pounds of Vidalia onions, a storied tradition for the local GOP. The party hawks what it dubs sweet Republican Vidalia onions from the famous Georgia farms. Profits from the union sale go toward keeping the local GOP headquarters open and helping support local candidates. Bryson Smith, the chairman, said, "Thank you for your faithful commitment to this country and all of its diverse residents. Your repetitive sponsorships, advertisements, advice, and guidance are strategic investments which are treasured. So many educated, athletic, community, and religious events would not be possible without practical patriots like you. We're so grateful." Local GOP meets 4th Thursday of the month, 6 o'clock at the headquarters, North Main Street in Rutherford. Scott Carpenter did a story in the Courier over the weekend about trail users and motorists not following the rules on the trail. The 13.5-mile Thermal Bell Rail Trail, which runs from Gilkey through Ruth, Rutherford, and Spindale and Forest City, is a great place to walk, run, or ride a bike. It can also be a dangerous place if the rules aren't followed. Complaints have been growing, especially about bicyclists who are not stopping at stop signs. These are posted at every point where the rail trail intersects with the public road. The stop signs are smaller than the larger red stop signs seen on public roads. Larry Lattimore is among those who say the situation is about to get out of control. He said those riding bicycles are not stopping at the stop signs on the trail. They are just flying by and paying no attention to the posted signs. Somebody's going to get hurt or killed. Lattimore and his wife live in the Sparks Crossing neighborhood near Spindale. Entering and exiting the neighborhood requires crossing the rail trail. Almost hit 3 on a bicycle yesterday, Lattimore said. He says seeing bicycles ignore the stop signs is a regular occurrence. According to Jess Kerr of the Rutherford Outdoor Coalition, the rail trail rules state that people using the trail must stop at all street intersections. Signs are posted at all intersections. They're supposed to stop, Kerr said. The rules also state that the trail can be used from dawn until dusk, and for bicycles, the speed limit is 15 miles per hour. We've gotten some complaints about bicycles going too fast or riding by too closely to walkers or runners. The town and county leaders who created the rail trail from the former railroad bed are pleased that it is being used and agree that everyone using the trail needs to follow the rules. The Thermal Belt Rail Trail is a tremendous asset to Rutherford County and our towns, according to Danny Searcy, the county manager, but people do need to be careful and observe the rules and regulations. I've seen it out here close to us, out here at the Railroad Avenue intersection. People just ride right on through the stop signs there. I guess hoping nobody will run over them, but everybody should follow the rules and regulations. 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, the Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Francis coming up here in just a moment.
There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117. When you hear the name American Dairy Goat Association, you automatically think of Spindale. They're dedicated to dairy goats. Their purpose is to promote the dairy goat industry by providing information about goat milk, the production of, and issuing certificates of registration. The headquarters are right here in Spindale. The American Dairy Goat Association would like to take this time to extend their goodwill wishes for all this year's graduates, wishing you a successful and fulfilling future ahead. This message has been brought to you by the American Dairy Goat Association at 161 West Main Street in Spindale.
And we checked in with the Sheriff's Department this morning to get the news from the past 24 hours. Sheriff Francis reported to us.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded 163 calls to service. There have been 7 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 167. But those arrested, Raven Leanne Moore, 25-year-old female, Mooresboro, received a $500 bond for failure to appear. Fred Lee Braun, Jr., 35-year-old male of Boston, was charged with failure to appear, felony larceny and non-support, and received a $500 bond as well. Among our incidents, we had a speed-polluted arrest on U.S. 74 business. Deputies were in pursuit approximately 6:40 yesterday with a black motorcycle. It was going eastbound. Suspect did flee on foot once in Cleveland County on Mooresboro Road. Was unable to locate, but they do have good suspect information in that particular case. In a separate case, we had a B&E in larceny on Capri Park Drive in Ellenboro. It was a PlayStation 5 valued at $750 taken, a go-kart valued at $500, as well as a go-kart rated at $900, and prescription medication taken in that instant. We had a larceny reported on Lavender Road in Ellenboro. There was a catalytic converter valued at $500, as well as a North Carolina registration plate EFL 2344 valued at $25 that was taken in that instant. We had a break-in and entering larceny on Green Road in Rutherford. Looks like there was an Edison 2000 Bluetooth speaker valued at $500 taken. We had a larceny on US 64 in Union Mills where a Ford van had a catalytic converter taken off, damage and converter valued at $750. We had a break-in and larceny on Brooklyn Road in Forest City. Looks like the suspect took U.S. currency and coins, and we had a separate B&E and larceny on Brooklyn Road, a neighbor that had several firearms taken, a Smith & Wesson Model 686 357 Magnum valued at $900, a Taurus 9mm T92 valued at $500, a Stevenson 12 gauge over and under valued at $500, and a Taurus nickel-plated with wood grips 38 caliber valued at $500. And Jim, that's what we had to report for the last 24 hours.
WCAB, the music's on us.
The information continues with an update on sports coming up here in about 45 seconds, and we'll be back with more news from here and there.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Philadelphia center Joel Embiid left in the first quarter with a sore right knee as the 76ers lost Game 4 of their playoff series against the Washington Wizards. They were trying for their first playoff sweep since 1995. Washington, meanwhile, cut its deficit in the Eastern Conference first-round best-of-7 to 3-1 by beating Philly last night, 122-114. Russell Westbrook says they understand the position they're in, being down 3-1.
We know it's win or go home for us from now on, and we just got to take one game at a time. And you can't win 4 games or 3 games in one night. Just win one, and then after that, you figure it out.
Utah now 1 game away from closing out their first-round series with the Grizzlies after last night's win at Memphis, 122-114. The series now shifts back to Salt Lake for Game 5. Now to the NHL playoffs, where for the third time in franchise history, the Montreal Canadiens came back from a 3-1 deficit to win a playoff series in 7 games. The Habs completed the comeback by beating the Maple Leafs 3-1 in Game 7 at Toronto. They move on to play the Winnipeg Jets, who swept Edmonton in their first-round series. Game 1 is Wednesday at Winnipeg. The Islanders beat the Boston Bruins last night 4-3 in Boston in overtime to knot their series at a game apiece. The series now shifts to New York for Game 3 on Thursday. The Carolina Hurricanes postseason continues tonight with Game 2 of their second-round series with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The defending Stanley Cup champs beat the Canes 2-1 on Sunday in Game 1. Carolina was good, though. They outshot the opposition, played well on the penalty kill. They scored a power play goal. Head coach Rod Brindamore talked yesterday about what it will take to gain an edge.
One little play here or there is the difference, but we got to find a way to get more traffic, and we can be sharper on the power play for sure. There's some areas there, and there's always areas to get better. We're going to have to find a way.
Game 2 set for 7:30 tonight from PNC Arena in Raleigh. 16,300 fans will be allowed in attendance. This is NCN Sports.
Help us serve you. North Carolina retailers aren't just the backbone of the local economy. They are the first ones to step up to support your Little League teams, your booster clubs, and to step in with product donations in times of need. So please shop NC. You hold the power to help North Carolina's retailers rebound faster by choosing to spend your dollars in North Carolina. The NC Retail Merchants Association proudly represents these dedicated retailers and encourages you to shop NC. Learn more at ncrma.org.
If the power goes out for your business, are you prepared with a backup? Without electricity, security systems go down, refrigerated items spoil, and customers are turned away. In other words, your business loses money. Control your power. Control your business with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power is North Carolina's Generac generator experts. In fact, all Alternative Power does is provide backup power. Financing options are available. See more at alternativepower.com.
It began last week with tennis star Naomi Osaka saying she would not answer reporters' questions at the French Open. It ended yesterday with Osaka withdrawing from the event at Roland Garros and describing her social anxiety and depression.
After refusing to take part in the post-match news conference and being fined, Naomi Osaka withdrew from the competition, saying she didn't want to become a distraction. She revealed that she has suffered long bouts of depression. The head of the French Open offered his support.
We wish her the best and the quickest possible recovery.
Peter Bodo with Tennis.com says officials are caught in a tough position.
They want to be supported, but they also have to hold her to the same obligations and rules as everybody else.
Osaka said she's going to take some time away from the court. Steve Futterman, CBS News.
Osaka said she's been dealing with long bouts of depression since the 2018 U.S. Open. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
It's going to be another gorgeous and pleasant day outside. The thing is, we have our humidity levels on the low side, so although we are going to head into the low to mid 80s today, it is going to feel really comfortable outside. Overnight, we're going to fall into the upper 50s and lower 60s. Tomorrow will be another seasonable day with highs in the low to mid 80s, and we have a good chance of seeing a few isolated showers and thunderstorms by the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Peter, I love those beautiful and pleasant days in the neighborhood of which you're broadcasting will have today. Right now we're at 59 degrees, warming up to 80 and partly cloudy skies, wind just about 6 miles per hour. Now the weather, this nice weather is going to be with us until maybe Wednesday night. That's when the isolated thunderstorms start developing. Lows around 62. We were kind of cool this morning at 53 when we started out. Cloudy with showers on Thursday and Thursday night, showers possibility. Friday, maybe a slight chance of rain on Friday, 70% maybe, and then Friday night, Chance of precipitation about 60%. Saturday, rain. And Saturday night, perhaps some rain Sunday and Sunday night and Monday. So we'll enjoy these next few days because they're going to be sunshiny and no rain, but the rain is certainly needed, but not all at once, right? We love to get some rain, but we like to get it in bucketfuls at one time and let it go. Vegetables and tomato plants, all those things need a little shower rain once in a while, or flowers and those kind of things. But we'll get it as it comes, and we'll take it as we have to do, because nothing we can do about it, right? Well, let's look at some other stories to keep you better informed, so you'll understand that there are some things going on out there. We're winning some and losing some battles temporarily. But there was a Christian physical education teacher has been placed on administrative leave after declaring in a speech that he would not lie to his students and defile God by affirming that a biological boy can be a girl and vice versa. He says he will not do that, so he's fired. The teacher with Byron Tanner Cross made the defiant declaration at a Loudoun County School Board on a meeting on Tuesday, according to the nonprofit group Parents Against Critical Race Theory. During the speech, Cross voiced his opposition to new transgender affirming policies pushed by a school district that require all staff use a student's preferred gender pronouns and permitted transgender students to participate in activities consistent with their gender identity rather than their biological, rather than how you were born. He's saying they want you to adapt to the fact that you might want to be something else. Yeah. Well, there's certainly a reason a lot of this stuff has taken place. In 1958, now listen closely, 1958, the communists had 45 goals to take over the U.S. without firing a shot. Now, here are some of the ones that they've already achieved. They're still working on others, but they have already achieved some of these. Grant recognition of Red China, admission of Red China to the UN. That's been done. The United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2758 made Communist China a member of the UN. Today, China is one of 5 permanent members. And as you know, China is causing us a lot of problems. Another one they've already accomplished, capture one or both of the political parties in the United States. That's been done. Communists were once hunted in the U.S. Today, Democrats like Bernie, AOC, and the squad with ideas that are clearly socialist, if not communist, are reelected with ease. They have accomplished that. Another one, get control of the schools. Use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum. Get control of teachers' associations. Put the party line in textbooks. That's been done. Marxism has been in our schools for a while now. It's pointed out brilliantly by Town Hall's Marina Medved. Common Core is right out of the Stalin playbook. CRT is just the next step. Here's another one. Gain control of all student newspapers. That's been done. Fox News reported just 1 year ago that Republicans were looking into China's influence on American universities overall, though not specifically student newspapers. A professor and 2 Chinese nationals were arrested at Harvard last year. The Chinese siege of our colleges and universities is underway. Here's another one. Infiltrate the press. Get control of book review assignments, editorial writing, policymaking positions. That's been done. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC. Need I say more? Not to mention China spending millions on propaganda in our newspapers. Here's another one. Gain control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. That's been done. Actor John Cena just kissed the commies behind regarding the promotion of his newest movie after saying that Taiwan is a country, not to mention 127 TV show episodes promoting Marxist BLM propaganda. Happening, folks. Here's another one. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good scripture from parks and buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. That's half done. There's a list of 113 statues that have been toppled, defaced, or removed, though no shameless, awkward, meaningless commie pinko forms have replaced them yet. That's coming. Here's another one. Eliminate all laws governing obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of free speech and free press. That's been done. I think we all know Pornhub is free and has whatever your creepy heart desires. It's there for you. And more profanity and obscenities are being used on public family television, in family time TV anymore. Here's another one. Present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, healthy. That's been done. Never mind homosexuality, I believe that is normal. However, in a ghastly attempt to normalize pedophilia, pederasts are trying to rebrand themselves as MAPs, that's minor attracted persons, and attempting to attach themselves to the LGBT movement. If you think this can't happen down the road, ask yourself this. Did you ever think there would come a time when the country would argue about where a man in a dress can relieve himself? Here's another one. Infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with social religion. Discredit the Bible and emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a religious crutch. That's half done. Whether or not communism has infiltrated our churches is up for debate. What can be argued is that Christians have been scorned and branded as stupid for believing in a bearded guy in the clouds. The left considers the Bible to be a book of fiction and questions the intelligence of people who believe in it. Here's another one. Eliminate prayer or any phase of religious expression in the schools on the grounds that it violates the principle of separation of church and state. How many times have you heard that expression? Well, all that's been done. Students may pray privately. However, school-sponsored prayer was banned by the Supreme Court in 1962, 4 years after the release of the Naked Communist. Supreme Court ruled school-sponsored prayer violated the First Amendment. Here's another thing the Communist Party is wanting to infiltrate with America. Discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate, old-fashioned, out of step with modern needs, a hindrance to cooperation between nations on a worldwide basis, and that's in progress now. All we've heard from the left this past year is that the Constitution was written by racist white men and needs to be updated if not discarded. The leftist attacks on the Constitution occurs on a near daily basis. Here's another one. Discredit the American founding fathers. Present them as selfish aristocrats who had no concern for the common man. That's been done. Even Hillary Clinton jumped on the bandwagon and said the founding fathers were racist and sexist. Here's another one. Support any socialist movement to give centralized control over any part of the culture. Education, social agencies, welfare programs, and mental health clinics. That's been done. Which of these haven't been centralized? Also, Senator Chuck Schumer tweets calls for student debt forgiveness once a month. It's working. Even NBC can see that millennials are all for socialism. Here's another one, and I'll finish up with this in just a minute. Transfer some of the powers of arrest from the police to social agencies. Treat all behavioral problems as psychiatrist disorders that no one but psychiatrists can understand or treat. Well, that's been done. You mean defund the police and send social service people to investigate crime instead? You've heard that, right? That's part of their plan, the communists to take over. A couple of more of these and I'll move on. They want to discredit the family as an institution, encourage promiscuity, and easy divorce. That's been done. Black Lives Movement recently deleted this from its website, but it said, we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. They're taking over our families. And one final one. This is another one of their 50 things they want to do to take over America. create the impression that violence and insurrection are legitimate aspects of the American traditions, that students and special interest groups should rise up and use united force to solve economic, political, and social problems. That's been done. We've watched Black Lives Movement and their sisters and Antifa burn our cities for over a year since the death of George Floyd. We watched them get away with it. If you're counting, that's 17 goals that have already been achieved. We can debate the others, and we should soon, because the Marxists are succeeding at alarming rates. These are 17 of the 45 goals that communists have in their playbook to take over the U.S. without firing a shot. And it's happening every day. If you listen up and watch the news, you'll find out, indeed, a lot of these things, what we have grown to love and appreciate over the years, and what our soldiers, military, fought for over the years, of which we celebrated Memorial Day yesterday, they are taking over these things. 1958, communists had 45 goals to take over the U.S. without firing a shot. And I've just given you 17 of those that are already accomplished, or already in the process of being accomplished. I mean, I don't make this stuff up, folks. It's for real. I'll be back in just a moment.
Get the most out of your tax refund with Bark Mobile's Refund Rack-Up event. Come in this tax season and get a great smartphone at a price you can't beat. Absolutely free. That's right. Get the popular LG Stylo 6 or LG K51 for free when you switch to Bark Mobile. Then rack up even more savings with unlimited data for $45 a month with AutoPay and take your tax refund to the max. Visit a store today to get the most with Bark Mobile. Mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City will once again sponsor the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race on July the 24th. And this year's race will be a live event, pending no changes in the current downward trend of the new COVID cases. Go to www.facebook.com/meetmeatthefountain5k for more information and to get sponsorship forms. All forms must be returned by July the 5th. Beneficiaries this year are the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Yoke Fellow, and the Chase Corner Ministries. And now the soda fountain is now fully open, and Smith's Drugs is no longer offering curbside for the fountain. However, the back door is still locked as Smith's Drugs continues curbside service for the pharmacy only. The COVID-19 vaccination is available Monday through Friday only, and walk-ins are welcome. Again, the soda fountain now open at Smith's Drugs. And don't forget the upcoming 5K race. So get your sponsorship forms at Smith's Drugs in Forest City.
Well, there are a few people around the country that are standing for what they think is the right thing to do. The president of Malta, George Vella, said he would never sign a bill that permits abortion, authorization of murder, and would rather resign and go home than see such evil prescribed in Malta. Yeah, Malta President George Vella. He said, I will never sign a bill that involves the authorization of murder. On May 12th, independent MP Marlene Perugia introduced legislation that would strike 3 articles in Maltese law that prohibit abortion and allow for prison terms of up to 3 years for those who help with an abortion. President Villa said, I cannot stop the executive from deciding that it is up to Parliament, but I do have the liberty, if I don't agree with the bill, to resign and go home. I have no problem doing that. When asked if any exception can be made to allow abortion, Vella added, you have either killed or not killed. There can be no half-death. I'm very clear, and there are no ifs and no buts, end quote. Malta is an archipelago in the Mediterranean Sea just south of Sicily. It has been inhabited since approximately 59 BC. Today, the population of 515,000 people is 90% Christian, mostly Catholic. The Constitution of Malta legally recognizes Catholicism as the state religion. This president is standing bold and said, I will absolutely not sign an abortion bill, which is an authorization of murder. I'll go home first. Big round of applause for George Vella, president of Malta. Would it be nice to have that kind of leadership? Well, Bob Unruh, I guess it is, published in WorldNet Daily, changed student athletes' commentary words even without even telling her. USA Today has determined that calling a man a male is hurtful. Yeah, USA Today, leading newspaper, has determined that calling a man a male is hurtful. And it is enforcing its arbitrary language manipulation on even authors of commentaries it publishes. The situation arose in the case of a commentary written by Chelsea Mitchell, one of several female athletes in Connecticut who filed a lawsuit after the state decided that boys, if they call themselves girls, can compete on girls' sports teams. She's represented by the Alliance Defending Freedom, which noted online on May 22nd, USA Today published an opinion piece from Alliance Defending Freedom client Chelsea Mitchell about the injustice she experienced as an athlete who was forced to compete against males in track. On May 25th, editors at USA Today, without notice to Chelsea, changed the word male to transgender throughout her piece and added the following editor's note to the top of it. This column has been updated to reflect USA Today's standards and style guidelines. We regret that hurtful language was used. Hurtful language when they called them males. The ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom, said, we reproduced the original version of Chelsea's piece so that you can read what she wrote prior to the USA Today's post-publication edits and editor's note, which inappropriately assigned hurtful motives to Chelsea's logical use of the word male to refer to the biology of males who compete in female sports. Well, Christiana Holcomb, Mitchell's lawyer, accused the media organization of unilaterally changing Mitchell's words after acquiescing to backlash from the woke mob. USA Today violated its principles to appease the mob. She said this blatant censorship violates the trust we place in media to be honest brokers of public debate. That's USA Today, one of the more liberal prints out there. I never have been a fan of USA Today for some reason. I don't know why, but I just never have. But they're declaring that if you call a man a male, then it hurts him. It hurts him. Well, here's another article from Andrew Thornbrook, the Western Journal. He says Texas Governor Greg Abbott is done allowing progressive cities to self-emulate via efforts to defund the police. In an interview with Fox News, Abbott responded to a recent shooting in Austin by matter of factly stating, we are going to defund the city. Earlier this week, Austin police took approximately 13 minutes to respond to a report of a man being shot in the head. According to KXAN, the reason for the delay, the police department is in dire straits on staffing, according to Austin Police Association President Ken Cassidy. Austin voted to defund its police department by $150 million last year. Abbott compared the recent tragedy to the skyrocketing homicide rates in cities such as Portland, New York, Los Angeles, where diminished police forces have struggled against the rising tide of violent crimes. Unfortunately, we had the same thing happen here in the state of Texas, where the city of Austin defunded police, Abbott told News, which is why you saw that tragic situation reported in Austin. This is what defunding the police looks like, Abbott said on the situation of Twitter. He says, we're going to defund cities that defund police. That's the governor. If you're in the city, you're the mayor, you defund your police, then you're going to be defunded from the state coffers. Yay for Governor Abbott. I think that's great. So we still have a few out there with backbone enough to stand up to the woke crowd. And I'm glad there are those out there. I wish we had more of them. I wish we had a governor in North Carolina that would stand up to the woke crowd and say, you folks have absolutely lost your mind. We're not doing it that way. We're doing it the right way. We're doing it the constitutional way. We're doing it the Judeo-Christian way. We're not doing it your way, so go pout somewhere. We don't have a governor to do that. We have a lieutenant governor that would do it if he were in that position, but he's not. So right now, anyway. Another study by Art Moore. This is published back in May the 30th. WorldNet Daily. A sign of the times, as you know, many businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and 2021 where face masks are required at all times. You've seen those in a lot of businesses around. State mask mandates did not help slow the spread of COVID-19, according to a new study by the University of Louisville. The study, based on CDC data covering multiple seasons, pointed out that 80% of the U.S. states mandated masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. While mandates induced greater mask compliance, the researchers said the mandates and the use of masks are not associated with lower SARS-CoV-2 spread among the U.S. states. Putting the mask on did not lower the rate. Our findings do not support the hypothesis that SARS-CoV-2 transmission rates decrease with greater public mask use. The researchers found that masks may promote a social cohesion as rallying symbols during a pandemic, but risk compensation can also occur. Now, here are some of the risks of masking up. Prolonged mask use, more than 4 hours a day, promotes a facial acclimatization and inadvertently encourages dehydration, which in turn can enhance barrier breakdown and bacterial infection risk. Another risk, British clinicians have reported masks to increase headaches and sweating and decrease cognitive precision. Here's another one. By obscuring nonverbal communication, masks interfere with social learning in children. In some of the states across the country, still demanding that their kids wear those masks 6, 7, 8 hours a day. But this study, University of Louisville, by obscuring nonverbal communication, makes masks interfere with social learning in children. And finally, likewise, masks can distort verbal speech and remove visual cues to the detriment of individuals with hearing loss. The Louisville study found that the growth of COVID cases was independent of mandates at low and high rates of community spread, and mask use did not predict case growth during the summer or fall winter wave. So there you go, folks. We have those folks who believe that and are doing away with the mask, and there are folks who are still running in fear. So, I'm going to wear my mask to my grave. Well, good luck with that. One final thing, and I'm going to get out of here, rest up the old voice, get ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up at 9:05 this morning. But a Black Lives Matter chapter founder saw the light. He exposes ugly truth of organizations after he quit. Rashad Turner was training to become a police officer when he became so distressed by the process that he became an activist. Little did he know exactly what he was jumping into. In 2015, he founded the chapter Black Lives Matter and came to prominence as a local activist. And then in 2016, he quit, saying the movement had been hijacked. He formed the chapter of Black Lives Matters. Then in 2016, he quit, saying Black Lives Matters had been hijacked. He didn't stop being an activist, though. He's now the executive director of the Minnesota Parent Union, a movement that supports both educational excellence and family involvement. In a viral video he made about why he left Black Lives Matter, he said, "The ugly truth about the group is that it works to create barriers to a better education for black children." In the video posted by black conservative group Take Charge Minnesota last week, Turner talked about how education allowed him to beat the odds. "My mother wasn't able to take care of me, so I was raised by my grandparents. They told me that if I was going to change my life for the better, education was the answer. So I worked hard in school," he says. "I got into Hamline University and earned a college degree, the first in my family. Then I went on to earn a master's in education from St. Mary's University of Minnesota. I'm living proof that no matter your start in life, quality education is the pathway to success. Hijacking the educational process is not the answer, but quality education is the answer. So I'll finish on that note. Make room now for news coming up at top of the hour. My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up. 9:05 this morning. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday morning edition of the Wake Up Call right here on WCAB on 100.9 FM, 598. Let's get back together tomorrow morning. Matter of fact, why don't you just lock it in where you got it right now. Stay with us throughout the day for the finest in a variety of programming on WCAB.
The music's on us. WCAB.
100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
To meet the rigorous standards set by the Food and Drug Administration for full approval, the Moderna vaccine is currently being distributed under an emergency use authorization. It will take several months for the FDA to review the data before it approves the vaccine. Moderna is the second company to seek full approval of a COVID-19 vaccine after Pfizer asked the FDA last month.
So many people have been vaccinated in the U.S. The TSA screened 9 million airline passengers between Thursday and Monday, and at least 34 million people were in their cars. Other places around the world, however, including Vietnam, are experiencing new COVID surges.
Vietnam agreeing to suspend all international flights into the capital Hanoi and its largest city, Ho Chi Minh. That came into effect from midnight last night. The country's health minister there saying they appear to have discovered a new highly contagious variant that combines the British variant and the Indian variant.
That's ABC's Ian Pannell at the Foreign Desk. 100 years after one of the worst incidents of racial violence in the U.S. history, President Biden will visit the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where last night they held a candlelight vigil for the 300 people believed killed when a white mob attacked black-owned businesses and homes in 1921.
Also in Tulsa Monday, two of the remaining survivors, Viola Fletcher and her brother Hughes Van Ellis, arriving to cheers and participating in a ceremony honoring the dead who were never identified.
Please put your hands in the soil.
100 years on, a renewed focus on remembrance, mourning, and resolve.
ABC's Marcus Moore in Tulsa. Texas Republicans pushing back after those Democrats blocked the voting of a bill they say would restrict voting access and lead to voter suppression. You're listening to ABC News.
Heads up, America. This is Drew Berquist, former U.S. counterterrorism officer, fighting for your freedoms right here at home, which is why you need to join Mammoth Nation. We are America's conservative discount club. Mammoth Nation was created by conservatives for conservatives of all ages. Now you have a safe place to shop that fights against the cancel culture. You get great deals on things like hotels, shopping, wireless, sporting goods, Patriot Gold, and a lot more. We just keep on growing. Cool thing is, proceeds from your membership dues and purchases help to support conservative businesses. Mammoth Nation also supports conservative candidates, military and veterans, law enforcement, and our American way of life. Memberships start at just $19 a year. Go to MammothNation.com, and if you hurry, you'll get a 30% discount on a lifetime membership. It's time we all took a stand. Shop with companies that want to support America, not destroy it. That's MammothNation.com. Get on board and become a lifetime member today.
After 14 years of study, laws in the Catholic Church around sex abuse of adults by priests are changing today. From Rome, ABC's Megan Williams.
Priests and ordinary people who hold church positions can now be charged with sex crimes for using their power to sexually abuse adults as well as minors. The Vatican also criminalized the grooming of kids or vulnerable adults by priests to compel them to engage in pornography. Included in the updated criminal code is the automatic excommunication of any priest who ordains a woman, as well as the woman. The new laws take effect in December. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
Police in and around Montezuma, Iowa are asking for the public's help in finding a 11-year-old boy who vanished on Thursday. Xavier disappeared just days before his 11th birthday. Kelly Kopser lives next door. She says her 10-year-old daughter would often play with him.
She keeps asking, have they found Xavier? Where is he? What happened to him? And I can't answer it because I don't know. It's just like he vanished.
Twitter is set to start putting new labels on tweets to fight the spread of misinformation. Suspect tweets could include labels that read, "Get the latest, stay informed," or "misleading," and will include links for more information. Those links will likely go to external sites or curated a collection of tweets. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are here to help. We'll make sure you have all the supplies you need to make the job quick and easy. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95. Plus, get a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It's going to be another gorgeous and pleasant day outside. The thing is, we have our humidity levels on the low side, so although we are going to head into the low to mid 80s today, it is going to feel really comfortable outside. Overnight, we're going to fall into the upper 50s and lower 60s. Tomorrow will be another seasonable day with highs in the low to mid 80s, and we have a good chance of seeing a few isolated showers and thunderstorms by the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Well, it's sunny skies, and we are 10 degrees warmer than we were this morning at 5:30. We're already up to 63, climbing up to 80 for a daytime high, and sunny skies here in the foothills, and partly cloudy skies. There'll be a lot of sun, a few clouds out there, and wind only about 6 miles per hour. Another great getting up morning here in the foothills, and we're glad you're a part of our audience right here on WCAB.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to My Great America with Jim and Butch. Jim Bishop here in the Blue Room, and my friend Butch Malby, he'd do a good fill-in for Willie Nelson on the road again. Good morning, Butch.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Doing great. Hope you're doing well on the road.
I'm doing well. I'm up here. You know, it's I have never, of course, experienced childbirth, but I will tell you that this move with my mother just feels like, you know, it's another month, moving along, but the child's going to be born. Baby's going to be born here soon, we believe, and so we're just attending to some details. You know, I will tell you this. I got in real trouble one time. I was giving a public address at a marketing seminar, and somehow, and I was using word pictures to try to illustrate something, and I used the analogy of childbirth, and I said, you know, this experience that this organization has had in trying to birth a new marketing initiative and a new set of initiatives. You know, it feels like the baby's overdue, and it's time now for us to launch. Well, after I was done, Jim, this was a presentation up in New York. There were a group of women that came up to me, and this one was appointed the spokesperson, and she said, I just want to make sure you know you have no idea what it's like to deliver a baby that's 2 weeks overdue. And that analogy did not work at all. So I need to be real careful here. But, you know, My Great America with Jim and Butch was birthed with a deep desire to be able to bring hope and life and encouragement and positive stories about what's happening in the community. And today it's in honor. This program is in honor of someone you do not know. His name is Bill Armstrong. Bill Armstrong is a lieutenant colonel soon, we believe. He's a major right now. Teaches at the War College. He is an expert, a national expert and a military expert on railroads and how railroads factor into all of our war planning. He teaches at the War College. But the most important thing he is on his resume and as part of his moniker is he is my mother's neighbor. Oh. And this sweet gentleman, when he sees that she's gone to Costco or the grocery store, he helps her with the groceries inside. He's not part of the family, but he's purposed in his heart, I'm going to help out that 89-year-old woman. He did something so sweet, and he's single, by the way. He did something so sweet. He got flowers for all of the widowed women that are here in this part of Kiln Creek. And you know what? It's inspirational examples like that you don't even know about that make up our great country. So Bill Armstrong, My Great America this morning, in honor of all the ways that you have simply but practically helped Joyce Maltby at Kiln Creek in Newport News, Virginia. Today's program is in honor of you.
What a gentleman. What a gentleman. We all can learn lessons from that.
You know, there are simple graces and acts of civility, Jim, don't you think? I mean, opening a door, asking a person how their day is going.
Yes.
Encouraging the person that looks like, you know, I've been in grocery stores here recently, and you'll have a mom that comes in. She's got a baby in a stroller, a couple, 3 toddlers in tow. And, you know, there are ways, you know, I've often gone up and I'll just get down on one knee and talk to the children. And, and end by saying something like, you know what, encourage your mom today. Just listen to what she says. And you know, you do it in a way that has honor and grace and affirmation. And you do that so well. You encourage people in the community. And I really hope that today people take that to heart. Do one thing that is inconvenient to your schedule today and encourage somebody. And you never know the impact of that, do you, Jim?
And not just a passing compliment, but some sincere word of encouragement to folks. Compliments can be weak, and people sometimes can see through those, but a genuine compliment and lifting somebody up is something that'll never go away.
Right, and it falls right in line. You know, it's one of the scriptures when it speaks of Jesus, with all the things that Jesus did and was and changed the world and still is and changing hearts every day. One verse speaks of him as he went about doing good. And you know what? We need to be about the business of not just our schedules, our agenda, our plan, our motivations, our passions. You know, as the Apostle Paul said, I must decrease so he, meaning who, Jesus, can increase. And when Jesus and the Spirit of the living God inhabits our life, we cannot help but being a living expression of the verse that the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit. It's not our self-effort. It's being truly born again, letting God come into our life through his son Jesus, believing and receiving, trusting and obeying, daily letting him save us so that we can be that incandescent light to a world that's become increasingly dark. Okay, now, Jim, be on your toes because I've got a word test today, but not North Carolina words. I've got Virginia words.
Oh.
Okay, now some of these may cross over. It's like Minnesota and Iowa. You know, they've got a big rivalry there, especially among the Norwegian and Swedish parts of the population. But here are a couple of phrases. You tell me what they mean. Bless your heart. What does that mean?
That means bless your heart.
Okay. Well, here's what it means up in. Okay, now, Jim, take this seriously. I got up very early to take this seriously. Now, take my test seriously here.
All right.
Okay, bless your heart. Now, this phrase, this is what they say here in Virginia. This phrase isn't strictly Virginian, yet it's a common one around this region and not nearly as nice as it sounds. If you're on the receiving end of a bless your heart, chances are you've done something silly, naive, or downright agitating to the other person.
Now,
Did you ever know that?
Down here, it bless your heart means bless you, my child. You're sweet.
Okay.
It's a different connotation down here.
Okay, well, okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know because we're getting into colloquial language here. How about this one? River.
River. I don't know that one.
Okay. Well, there are so many rivers in Virginia, but there's seldom any confusion when someone shares that they're headed to the river for the weekend. Not only does it sound lovely, but it certainly involves time on the pier, the boat, eating fresh seafood. Specific whereabouts aren't really too important when you're on river time.
River.
Yeah, R-I-V-A-H, river.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know what, Jim? You have it gives me joy to know that I can encourage you, and you're learning a little bit here too.
I'm challenged this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We need Todd in here because Todd seems to know all these things. He's got a PhD in all this language. Okay, here's the third and last one for today. Slug.
What?
Slug.
Spell it.
S-L-U-G. Slug.
I don't know that one either.
Okay. You know what, folks? This was not designed today to expose anything in Jim Bishop. It wasn't. This was designed just to have a little update on Virginia language. Okay, now, Jim, listen carefully. In most places, this term refers to a slimy little creature you'll find when it's rained a lot. But in Virginia, a slug can also be a person prone to sleeping in and lounging around. Example, I slept an hour past my alarm, and it felt like a slug all day.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, Jim, I can tell we're not enthusiastically engaged in this part of our program today.
I was thinking about when you were talking about all those different words in Virginia. I remember some years ago that I saw a car from Virginia, North Carolina. On the bumper sticker, it said
Yeah.
Virginia is for lovers. And I thought that's an interesting concept. I didn't know if that was their motto up there in Virginia or not.
It is. It is. It is. And the cardinal is the bird, and the dogwood is the official flower. And, of course, I went to elementary school at South Morrison Elementary and then Warwick High School up here. So, you know what's so interesting is every state has its own little things about it. And but one thing, Jim, okay, so, Jim, that was there's probably both of us need some remedial efforts this morning on those words. But you know what I also learned that was so tragic as I was doing a little reading here recently? You know, only in a Gallup poll, only 28% of Americans know what Memorial Day means.
Really?
Yeah. The Gallup poll organization found that when they asked people what Memorial Day was all about, you know, memorializing people that have made the greatest sacrifice to defend the freedoms of our country, in one of the most recent Gallup polls, only 28% of Americans actually knew what Memorial Day meant.
Well, it's pretty obvious, too, around here when you see a lot of ceremonies that are talking about let's recognize the veterans, and they should be recognized. But this day is for those folks who gave their lives for our country. Veterans Day is coming up when we recognize all the current veterans who are living today. So there's two different days, one for those who gave their lives or died, and those that are still living and still fighting for us. So there is a difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
Right, and you know what? While we have so many people in our country that are literally hell-bent on changing our history,
yes,
I become in ways that are so discouraging to people that knew me in a different dispensation before God got a hold of my life. You know, I've become a champion for us teaching civics, teaching the basics of what the country is all about, the functioning of our republic, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Founding Fathers. Why? Because when we get away from our roots, Jim, we end up with Gallup polls saying only 28% of Americans know what Memorial Day is all about. You know, Memorial Day is about that 19-year-old PFC in World War II that when a hand grenade came in from the Nazis into the middle of all of his buddies, jumped on it and took the blast of it with his abdomen and died.
Yeah.
Or the medic who ran out onto the field under intense sniper fire or from a machine gun nest on Iwo Jima and drug his buddies to safety only to be killed as he brought the ninth person down from harm's way. Or the person who was on a B-17 bomber that was trying to destroy the military-industrial complex of the Nazis, who were exterminating millions and millions of Jews, who, when the plane took a direct hit to its wing, told everybody else, look, you bail out. I'll make sure that I can steer the plane into one more warehouse filled with all of the Nazi armaments, and died in that way, refusing to jump out of the airplane. It's for those people, the blood of whom has cemented our freedoms, that we have a Memorial Day. It's not just what Belk sale is happening or whatever else is happening that satisfies our hedonistic desires. And Jim, we have got to get back. We have got to get back to remembering this nation wasn't just given to us. The freedoms that we have aren't free, and it's through the sacrifice of men and women and improbable heroes through our history that we're even able to get up on Tuesdays and Thursdays on WCAB and have a little program we call My Great America. It's not great because of our lofty rhetoric or exaggerated claims. It's the drops of blood and sweat and tears prayerfully offered since the beginning of this nation that have kept us on course, and we dare never forget.
I regret that I was not old enough to remember him very well, but I had an uncle, one of my dad's brothers, was killed in World War II over in, well, I'm sorry, it was World War II, maybe it was, but in one of the wars he died, and I remember in my mind seeing him as, I was just a little boy seeing him at home one time, and then next time I learned about him, he had died in the war, and I think that was my dad. Dad was one of 14 children, most of them boys. He was Uncle Horace was right in the middle of the age group there, so I can identify a little bit with folks, the family, and my dad talking about his brother, how much he missed his brother because that was killed in the service. But one thing you can say about folks who in those battles, in those wars, It was a fraternity of brotherhood. They would give their life to save their brother that was fighting right beside of them, and many of them did that.
Well, and you know what? That same spirit of we are in this together. You know what? At my church, Word of Faith Fellowship, we have a song that we sing. We are called to walk together. And you know what, Jim? We have our differences. We've got different backgrounds, different ethnicities. You know, this was powerfully expressed in the most recent meeting that we had of the Clergy Reconciliation Group here in Rutherford County, where we're really trying to get at, you know, what are the core issues related to racism, and what can we do to deal with that? You know, when we confront things head on, it's so much better than just kind of dancing around the issues. And I love the fact that we can deal with matters and deal with them directly and righteously, ask God to help us. But as a nation, we cannot ever take for granted just the blood that's been spilled by people that in so many cases were improbable heroes. And, you know, Jim, I found myself so thankful again that when we started My Great America, it was your choice to pick America the Beautiful. And, you know, it was so interesting. You know what happened in the last week here there in Colorado Springs? Of course, America the Beautiful is that unbelievably gorgeous song that some people have wanted to be our national anthem. It was written by Catherine Lee Bates. She died in 1929. She was an American professor, and what was so interesting about her is she wrote many books, including children's books, but she was a social activist. She was interested in the struggles of women, of tenement residents, immigrants, poor people. She had tremendous influence as a social mobilizer, and you know, what was so interesting about her too, she died in 1929 on March 28th, and she died as a friend was reading poetry to her. She was a very activistic woman, and she wrote that wonderful America the Beautiful song. But what just happened here recently, Jim, that relates to that is Colorado Springs has the largest cog railway in the world. And one way you can experience the song that was inspired by Pikes Peak is to go on the cog railway, which they've recently completely redone. Now, it was installed in 1891 by the Simmons Beauty Rest mattress inventor. His name was Zalman Simmons, and he found the experience of getting up the mountain on a mule back entirely uncivilized. You know, that mountain, by the way, is 14,115 feet. When I was in my wandering days, I lived in a cabin there up around 10,000 feet. It's the highest railway in the country. But in 2017, they evaluated the infrastructure. They found, Jim, that there was a lot of problems. And so what they did is they closed it, and it was a unique legacy that a lot of people missed because it was exactly those views that inspired America the Beautiful. So what they did is unbelievable. They invested $100 million over 3 years, and now they've got a completely new set of trains and tracks and all of that. It's beautiful. So in May, just here recently, after 3 years, they opened it up again, and they rebuilt and upgraded or changed the visitor center. The main depot is this 19th century mining town era building. It's got bright blue paint, and you go 10 miles an hour, which doesn't sound very fast, but going up to over 14,000 feet, you get an unbelievable panoramic view of Pike National Forest. You can see old quartz boulders. You got blue spruce, ponderosa pine, aspen trees, these meandering waterfalls. You've got this glacial water. I mean, it's just incredible. The round trip ticket, by the way, costs $58. But and I used to go up that cog railway. We lived in Colorado Springs. That is what inspired the little intro and exit of our program.
Wow, that's a great story. I love that. And there's a lot of places like that we could look at and say, you know, God made this country, and it is beautiful. It's my country. It's America.
My country is America. We need to be proud patriots, not accidental patriots. And, you know, the whole woke culture movement, in part, has this sticky underbelly that's dark, which is that we're stripping away things that are beautiful about this nation. And, you know, this jumping on the bandwagon to say everything about America is bad from the start is just not true, and it's not honoring. Now, another thing that's happened, Jim, today's kind of a potpourri, this and that program. You know, we're seeing a lot more black bears in North Carolina this year. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
What's
the reason?
Well, you know, for the curious, here's what's kind of interesting. In North Carolina, black bears were once found everywhere in the forests across the entire state. But what happened in the early 1900s, because of hunting and a loss of habitat and sources of food, that population started to die. And by the 1970s, Jim, bears were found in North Carolina only in the most remote areas of the mountains or in swampy places along the coastal plain. But today, what wildlife biologists tell us and the Department of Natural Resources is that over 60% of North Carolina's land areas you can find bear in. Have you seen any recently?
I have not.
Okay, but we do get them that way. They come through the county, don't they?
Yes. There are reports from time to time about seeing a bear in the county. My friends up at Brumling Ball, Lake Lure area, tell me from time to time they see them quite a bit up there, of course, because they come out of hibernation and they come into the village and looking for food. They'll push over the trash cans or they'll try to get down automobiles. So it's an interesting study up there for them. They videotape a lot of that, but they are out here prevalent. They've been reported of them being in Spindale and places like that. My grandson lives down near Boiling Springs, South Carolina, and he was leaving to go to work the other morning, and somebody stopped him and said, "I want you to know," said there was just a big bear walked through your backyard. So he had not seen it, of course, but they're everywhere.
Well, you know, when we lived in Monument, Colorado, with our children, we were up about almost 8,000 feet in our home there, and all of the lots were wooded lots with multiple acres. And our next door neighbor to the left of us called frantically one time to tell me there's a bear in my garage going through my trash cans, and that everything in Colorado is bigger. I mean, the deer, the elk. We had a horse farm that was just to the west of us, about a mile away from the back end of our property. And the Department of Natural Resources, Jim, was in there with cameras because they were tracking the movements of a mating pair of mountain lions. That was a mile from our home.
Oh,
and,
wow.
of course, we had hawks and eagles and other things. But you know what? God, so often we'll be reminded in my community of faith, God is all about the details. You know, it was a complete misnomer where that phrase was originated, the devil is in the details. No, the devil's not in the details. God's in the details, and God made a beautiful earth, and it tells us that the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. It also tells us the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies declare the work of his hands. It's impossible for an atheist or an agnostic to look at the beauty of our world and the grandeur of America and not see the fingerprints of God, to sense that in the beginning when God said, "Let there be light," that put in motion an incredible, magnificent, never to be repeated expression of the power and the grandeur of the God that we serve. And you know what, Jim? Every Tuesday and every Thursday, we always want people to leave with a sense of America is not great because men have made it great. America has been great only because people have prayed and worshiped and honored the God who was the source and inspiration of the beginning of this republic. And I rue the day, and it's happening to us if we don't stand watch and become Minutemen for our freedoms. Rue the day that we ever forget that it was God who birthed this great country. And you don't have to be somebody who's a follower of Jesus to acknowledge the Creator, the one who made all things.
When you see some beautiful sunsets in the evening, as early sun rises in the morning, I don't know how you cannot stop and think about how great thou art. Somebody like
right.
That we live in a world, in a country, that we have such beautiful, beautiful scenery that God created.
God is great. God is good. God is just, and God expects us to find Jesus worth the knowing. And so, Jim, today as we move in our Tuesday, a shortened week, you know, the hope and the prayer today for everyone is that we will remember that we are called to be ambassadors of Jesus in our community to bring light and life and hope. And Jim, as we do that in simple ways, not grandiose ways, we will continue to be people that anchor our nation, our community, our county in the hope that's built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. It's a great country. It's a great America. Let's make it a great week.
You're one of those people that make America great, and I appreciate the friendship. I'll see you back here real soon.
All right. Blessings, my brother.
God bless
Bye-bye.
America.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.